Greetings, Patrick here, and it's time for our episode of Dollar Theater, the Voter Edition. That's right, it's our second one. So we put up 5 movies for you guys to vote on and to see which one we would be talking about today. And through the process of elimination, we came out with two survivors, and they were actually tied. Actually tied. So we had to go to a sudden death. Sudden death. Um, we put out a poll. We didn't tell anybody what we're doing. We just put out the poll inside our Facebook group. Put all the 5 movies out there, and then we waited to see who would get the first vote. And whoever did was going to be our winner. Now we had 2 movies that were into the running. We had Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, very worthy, very worthy. Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, and then we had, and this is from 1999, and from 2000, we had the romantic comedy fantasy What Women Want, starring Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt, and this movie was directed by Nancy Meyers, a very famous director in her own right. So everybody else got eliminated rather early, and one movie didn't even get a single vote. We had 33 people vote this week. We had 33 people. No, yeah, 33. So and so it was close. It was definitely close, and I was glad to see more people voted this week than last week. So I guess we're on the right track. Um, but the movie that got picked, What Women Want. So I saw this movie with Lorianne, my wife. It came out in 2000, and we went and saw it at the theater. And the first time I've watched it, and since I can't remember when, probably since the theater. So I had remember part of it, but not all of it. And I do remember the hook. The hook was he got hit by lightning, and now his character, Mel Gibson's character, is now able to read the minds of women, telepathy. So this movie is a lot of fun, and let's talk a little bit about the cast before I get into the plot. So we have Mel Gibson as Nick Marshall. He's a hotshot at an ad agency. He's single. He's divorced but single. He's got a 15-year-old daughter that he's sort of estranged from. He's really cocky, but um, he's not really likable. And then we have Helen Hunt, who's coming over there to Nick's ad agency, and basically taking the job that he thought he was going to get. At the last minute, they swerved him, and they hired Darcy, who because Nick's ad agency is not connecting well with women. They're not getting advertisement dollars. So they need to get some women advertisement going, otherwise the agency will sink. So they hire the best of the best, and that's Darcy McGuire. Some other actors in here are Marissa Tomei, plays Lola. She works at a coffee shop. She really likes Nick quite a bit, but she's scared of being hurt. They flirt, but it's sort of painful for Lola to flirt because she doesn't want to get burned. And so even though Nick offers her to take her out many, many times, she pushes them back. Alan Alda plays Nick's boss. Dan Wanamaker, he's the head of the agency where Nick works at, played by Alan Alda, who was in MASH. Ashley Johnson plays his daughter, Alex Marshall. She's really cute, but boy, oh boy, is she mouthy. I'm just saying that. I'm thinking, man, if I ever talked to my parents that way when I was 15, my head would be on the other, wrapped around the other side. But she's bitter about her dad because her dad's not really in her life very much as he's only got the biological name, but he hasn't really been connecting with her, so they have a strained relationship. Some of the other people in it are Mark Feuerstein, who plays Morgan Farwell. That's Mel Gibson's wingman. And then some of the people in it, we have an early appearance by Eric Balfour, who plays Alex's boyfriend, a little too old. We have Delta Burke, Valerie Perrine. It's a great cast. Judy Greer as Erin. She plays a copy girl who is, well, she has problems. And yeah. So the movie basically, the movie starts off establishing Nick as a cad. He's a man about town. He thinks that he's a lot cooler than what he really is, and we see that when we see the women start thinking about how he is after he has this accident. He doesn't get the job that he wants, so he goes ahead and Darcy comes in and gives everybody in her department a pink box of women products, and she challenges them all to figure out how to advertise them. Now I'll give you this. I actually like the way that Nick did this. Of course, he had to be drunk to do it, but I like the idea that and it shows a little bit that he's not quite as bad as we'd like, as they portray him out to be in the beginning of the film. He actually tries on the products. I thought that was actually pretty cool. He puts on the pantyhose. He waxes his legs. He has the Wonder Bra there. He's got the lipstick and the fingernail polish and all the other stuff in the box. He is actually doing this, trying to get inspired, because he has no idea how to market these items. And if he doesn't come up with an idea, that's, he might be going from the golden boy to out the door boy, because Darcy needs people who can think outside the box in order to save the company. So he tries, but at the same time, he's jealous of Darcy, and he thinks that she has the job that he should have had. Well, in the process of trying out these products, Nick falls into the bathtub, and his hairdryer falls into the bathtub, and he gets shocked. Unconscious. He wakes up, and lo and behold, he's able to read women's minds, not men. Well, not that there's very much to read there anyway. It'll be more like finger painting, or a kid's book. See Dick run. See Jane. Okay. But he gets to read women's minds, and of course he's blown away by that. He's like absolutely terrified. He's like, this is crazy. I mean, and he hears them. He's having a hard time turning them off. He gets caught up into a group of women that are running, and he stands there, and all he hears is just all their thoughts all at once. In a sense, this is a very scary movie in that sense. And in fact, there was a Twilight Zone episode that had that premise where a man could read everybody's thoughts, and it just got to be so much that he couldn't stand it anymore. Well, anyway, with Mel Gibson's character, he's panicking. He goes to work, and all of a sudden he's hearing how people really see him, and it's not very flattering at all. He did not realize that he has been such an ass, including with his daughter. His daughter gives him the third degree. Lola is like, I really like him, but I'm scared of him because I'm scared of being hurt. His doorman Flo, she thinks that he's fine for that fine ass of his. So there's some comedy there. And then at the job, he hears, not only does he hear the workers, but he also hears the thoughts of a girl named Erin, played by Judy Greer, who is suicidal. She's suicidal, and he feels that, and but he feels it, but it's everything else is going on so fast that he's not able to really latch onto the importance of it at that moment. And so, and then what he does, he goes inside to an office where Dan's there with Darcy, and they're going over an ad campaign. And because Nick can read Darcy's mind, he's able to get one leg on her and all the ideas at the firm. Anything that she thinks of, he's voicing it. He's vocalizing it. So it appears that he's doing all the work. Including landing a very prestigious account with Nike. So at first, where he's really scared, he goes to a psychiatrist, played by Bette Midler, in an uncredited role, and And what's really interesting is this: it's like in the beginning when Nick gets his powers, he's really unsure what to do. It's like it's holy shit, like now what? And I find it ironic that he went to a woman psychiatrist who basically encouraged him to, you're now, you have the power. You could do anything you want. You're in control. I found that really interesting. And this movie was written by one half was written by a woman. It was directed by a woman. But I found it really interesting that the one person you would think that would tell him to put on his brakes and to try to respect other people is does the opposite. Turns around and says, you know, the world's your oyster. And we see Nick laying back in the chair, and all of a sudden he realizes that he shouldn't be fearing this, but taking advantage of it. I thought that was a really interesting twist on it, and that's what he does. He steals Darcy's ideas. You know, when other women are thinking bad about him, he reacts. He hooks up with Lola, and then he uses Lola's mind to, you know, read her mind to, you know, give her a great night. You know, they have a fun night, but he has no interest in her. He just wants to get laid, but he has no interest in getting to know her. And you know, because now he's attracted to Darcy, and now he's reading Darcy thoughts about how, you know, like don't date anybody at work, and he's just taking advantage of that. Um, this is sort of like in hindsight. This sort of reminded me of Wonder Woman 84, where Wonder Woman is able to go inside somebody else's body and brings back her love that died in the first movie, Steve Trevor. And it's sort of I like that too. Like he's invading their most private thoughts and then exploiting it. Now, yes, it's funny. It is funny. I'm not going to sit there and say this is not a funny movie. This is a romantic comedy fantasy. I just really was a little surprised at how callous that he was. Nick is callous, um, and so, but he's finally starting to learn. He starts figuring it out. He starts figuring out toward the end of the movie. He's like, you know, I can be a better person. I can understand people better. I can use this not to my advantage as far as what I can get. I can use this to my advantage to improve who I am, to improve his relationship with his daughter, to improve his relationship with Darcy. Um, and so, and at the end of it, you know, toward the end of the movie, he realizes that Erin, who's been walking around basically just working up the courage to end her life, he realizes that he realizes that one, that he messed up with this young girl. She wanted to be a copywriter, and he had denied her because he didn't think she was anything, and so she didn't get a job. Because he never saw her. And then when he finds that out, he feels righteously guilty. He doesn't feel sorry for her in a sense, but he realizes that he has done her wrong, and this had led her down this road where she wants to kill herself. So he desperately runs to the address to save her, and in the process, he gets hit by lightning again, by electrical spark, and he loses his power. Now he's this Nick Marshall, and he's got to go on his heart, not cheating. And he runs over to Erin's house, and he lets her know that he knows what she was planning to do. And he says, and he apologizes to her for his actions toward her. He really is redeeming himself here. And he says, you know what? We got this new account. We need somebody in here to come in there. I didn't give you the fair shot the first time, but we're going to need you going forward. It's not out of pity. He's not doing this to like, okay, pat her on the head. He knows what she's capable of. And so he offers, even without his mind reading abilities, he knows what he has. And so he connects with Erin. He connects with his daughter. His daughter and he have a better relationship. because her older boyfriend was going to go, after the prom, she was going to, give up her virginity to her boyfriend, older boyfriend. And, of course, Nick's scared of that. But after he loses his powers, he goes and he talks to his daughter, not as someone who could read her, but as a dad who's concerned, a dad who realizes that he has not been there for his daughter, and he is getting something that a lot of people in his position rarely get, and that is a second chance. And so he takes advantage of that second chance. He realizes what he has, and now he's a father to his daughter. And of course, the big showdown with him and Darcy. Darcy basically, because what Nick has been doing, he has made her hiring basically non-point, and she had just gotten her first apartment, and things were going well, and then it all of a sudden Nick's coming aboard with all these hot ideas that were really hers, and so she gets let go, and Nick's telling Dan that you can't do that. Trust me on this. It's a huge mistake. You got to get her back on the phone. Give her the job. I sabotaged her. And and I mean, this is something that the old Nick would never have done in the beginning of the movie. And so we do see that he has changed. He goes over to Darcy. He explains to her that, yeah, I fucked up. I sabotaged you. He doesn't explain how, because that would come across as cray-cray. But he explains how he did it. But he's horribly sorry. He's horribly sorry. And when Darcy finds out that she still has her job, she basically says, "Well, after what you're just going to tell me, I'm just going to fire your ass," which would have been everything would have been right. But the fact of the matter is that she realizes that Nick has changed too. Not just because he read her mind and her emotions, but he's just become a better person overall for the experience. I liked this movie. I really did. I thought it was really good. I mean, this is the height of Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt. This is probably the height of their stardom right here. It's a fun movie. It's a major league movie as far as money goes. They made this movie for $70 million. It recouped $375 million. They tried to do this movie again in a couple of years, 3 or 4 years ago, What Men Want, and they made it with Taraji Henson in it, and it didn't do as well. $20 million. They made $75 million, $73 million back. There's probably some reasons behind that why it didn't work so well. Though I love Taraji Henson, I think she's an amazing actress. And when I heard about the reboot on that, I was thinking that would be really cool. I would like to see what they would do with it. I don't, you know what? I just didn't really feel it. I wasn't feeling the remake, but I definitely was re-feeling this one. And I thought Nancy Meyers directed it really, really well. Great soundtrack too. If you're a Frank Sinatra fan, boy, this soundtrack's for you. Even though the movie's set in Chicago, and Frank Sinatra's a New York boy, the soundtrack is fire. Definitely in fire. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the soundtrack. I think it really made it pop. All the actors did a great job. There are some really comedic moments where Nick, who's reading people's minds, the women's minds at the time, he goes to his two assistants, played by Delta Burke and Valerie Perrine, and he asks them a question to see what they're thinking, and they don't think. So you can't hear them because they're bubbleheads. that was sort of funny. I have to admit that made me laugh out loud. Like, they're standing there looking at them because they don't have a thought in their brain and they don't have a thought in their head. As far as this movie goes, 2000, this came out on Paramount. It does have a lot of special features on there, including a director's commentary by Nancy Meyers. Nancy Meyers is a terrific director. I mean, seriously, the lady, her hits are crazy good. She also won an Oscar. She won, but she started working as far as she did She was nominated for screenplay for Private Benjamin. She did Baby Boom with oh gosh, she did Baby Boom with Diane Keaton, and then she did Father Bride, The Parent Trap, which is a classic. I think they're remaking that right now. Oh no, they're doing Freaky Friday, but they did The Parent Trap with Dennis Quaid, Lindsay Lohan, Elaine Hendricks, and Lisa Ann Walter. Something's Got to Give, Complicated. I didn't like It's Complicated. That was weird. That was a weird movie. And The Intern. So she has a terrific body of work. I like this movie. I'm glad you guys picked it too. I haven't, like I said, I have not seen it for a while. So yeah. Well, that's it for this edition of Dollar Tree Theater, the Voters Edition. This will come out every Friday at noon. We are going to find 5 more movies. We're going to probably do a theme week next week. And that's one of the things I want to do with this series. I want to try different things. So we're going to do a theme week next week. And I better get out of here before I lose my power. The wind is kicking up. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Peace. Don't go out on me, power.